Okay, perfect then. Okay, so let's get going if you want. Is that okay? Ready?
Yeah. Yes, all good.
Okay. So Nigel, you were telling me a little bit that you were having some troubles with financially, that you wanted a little bit more financial freedom, correct?
That's right, yes.
Okay. And what you have mentioned, I have it here that you wrote down. Let me see a second. That, well, that you had to work a lot to be able to get money. So I don't know if you have been seeing some of the videos that I've been posting out there, that many times what happens is that we have programs in our subconscious mind, okay?
Yeah. Yes,
And those programs are kind of telling us that, as you say, I got to work a lot very hard to be able to accomplish something. So what happens is I kind of boycott myself to do whatever I need to do. So many times I've been working with people that they got their strategies, they got everything together to be able to accomplish something, but they just cannot accomplish it. Okay. And it has to do
yeah,
with these beliefs running in our subconscious mind. Does it make sense?
it does, definitely.
Okay. So in your case, one of the things that you mentioned, and if you want to go a little bit deeper, you mentioned that you have the idea that you have to work very hard, okay, to achieve success.
Yeah,
That was
yes,
kind of what your father did. You told me.
yeah. Still does.
Sorry,
Still does. He still does that.
he would repeat that to you. Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. And also you comment that this is kind of killing your life and your passion, of course. Is that correct? No, sorry,
Um,
your life.
yeah, yeah. So for me, I do feel that, I was always taught that hard work is the only way that you achieve anything in your life.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Okay.
and and that's what I've been doing for the past 10, 15 years, is really putting effort in. I mean, I'm also known between my friends and partner that I never take holidays. I am a workaholic. I'm always just working, working, working. And if you have an off time or off day, then you're so tired that you don't want to go anywhere because you just want to relax, because you know tomorrow is back to working 100% again. Um,
Okay.
it just feels that I'm not getting where I'm supposed to be getting. I'm putting all the work in, and I'm really grafting hard, um, and I am achieving a lot of things. I'm not putting myself down by saying I'm not achieving anything. I am growing, but it feels that as soon as something happens and I achieve something, something else happens, that takes it away, I have to start again from the beginning. So it feels like I'm staying on the same level all the time. I do a few steps ahead, and then something happens, then I'm 5 steps back again. And then I go 5 steps ahead, and then I go 5 steps. So it doesn't feel like I'm actually going somewhere.
Yeah, I know what
If
you
that
mean.
makes sense.
But I got another question for you, because you mentioned that your father was is pretty wealthy, but super frugal. What do you mean with that exactly? If you can explain that a little bit more.
Um, so I mean, he's a very good businessman. He's got quite a few businesses, um, owns quite a few properties, um, but he doesn't believe in really spending money. So, I mean, when I grew up, always that, he had a big fancy Mercedes standing in the garage, which he drove once a week because he was driving an old car or old bucky for his work.
Yes.
Because and even with us as well, as he wouldn't let us buy expensive things or fancy things. It was always the plain standard cheap things
Okay.
that's yeah. And then we were always told that money doesn't grow on the tree, but we always know that he's got lots of money. so that's so, and I don't know if that is why I am, because I always said that I don't want to be like my father, because he's got a lot of money, but he's not enjoying it. So unfortunately for me is when I get money, I buy the fancy car and I don't live an extravagant life at all. I don't. But I don't hesitate to buy something nice for myself. And
But
I
how
don't
do
know
you
if
feel once you buy it?
um, how do I feel once I pay for it? I feel good because I feel I work hard for it and I do deserve it.
Okay. And how long did that feeling stay with you?
Well, until it wears off, I suppose. The novelty of the product or the item that you buy.
Exactly.
Maybe a day or two or three or whatever. I don't know.
There you go. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
That's very important, Nigel. I'm going to go deeper to that. But it's very important for you to understand that although you don't want to be like your father, unfortunately, in your subconscious mind, in the things that I teach, you have that information stored in there. So it doesn't mean that you're exactly like your dad, but there might be beliefs in there. And that's what I want to do now and go deep and find out what's going on, is that we have beliefs. When we are kids and we see situations, we draw conclusions out of those situations that go and store themselves in our subconscious mind. And although we don't even know they're there, and now you're going to see it's really amazing what happens, is that we're acting out of those subconscious beliefs. Make sense?
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
So what I want you to do right now is I want you, Nigel, to close your eyes a second, please. A second, close your eyes now. Close your eyes, and I want you to breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out, and just concentrate for a couple of seconds on your breathing. Just think about your breathing. And I want you to kind of, whatever comes out is okay. So don't try to judge it. Don't try to explain yourself. Whatever comes out is fine. I'm not here to judge you. I'm just here to help you. So I want to ask you, what do you believe about work and success deep down? And I want you to find this small voice. There's always a small voice, a little voice in the back of your head that is telling you something, and we normally tend to just push it away and not pay attention. So I want you right now, while you're breathing and focusing on that, on a little bit on my voice, I want you to start looking inside of you. Is there a voice that might be telling you something in there?
There is, yeah.
So what is this voice telling you? Can you share that with me, please?
I think I also have a problem with, well, I'm not trying to explain it, but
Problem with what? Sorry, I didn't get the last word.
with, deserving the success that I feel that is, if I can say, due to me or supposed to come to me.
Well, how do you feel about then that? Could you expand a little bit more, please?
You see, I was also always taught that even though my father is wealthy, that we've always got to live a standard life, not a life that you think that you are wealthy, for instance. I mean, he's always like the car that always stood in his garage,
Yes.
it was hidden away from people, that people don't think he's got the money.
Okay.
And
what did that make you feel, if you don't mind sharing? What did that make you feel, that you couldn't enjoy your wealth, your money?
Makes you feel that you don't deserve it, that you are not supposed to show people that you have money or that you have wealth.
And what would happen? What do you believe inside of you? Not what your dad thought. What do you believe would happen if you can keep your eyes closed because it's easier to connect with what's going on inside, what would happen if other people see your wealth? What did you learn out of that? What could happen if other people saw that you were wealthy?
I tend to feel bad about it, and
Okay.
I feel not bad in as a bad sense, but I feel sort of guilty. I
Yeah.
have a guilty feeling that um, I want to say is that why do I have the wealth and they don't, and why do I deserve it and they don't? So
Okay.
that there's a bit of a thing inside of me that I'm fighting with, like, and I don't know if that's a sort of a block. Is that why do I deserve to be wealthy but somebody else don't? And I'm trying to struggle with that level I do give away a lot of money as well, or help a lot of people, and I think that's also to my own detriment and my own downfall.
Okay.
Um, that I tend to help people more than what I can actually afford to.
Okay. So this
And
let's go with that. Nigel, sorry, let's go with that guilt a little bit. So what is that voice telling you about yourself?
that I suppose, as I say, that I don't deserve that.
You don't deserve it? Because if
I
others
suppose
can't have it, you cannot have it. That's what you mean?
that's yes, that's sort of what I feel. Yeah.
Breathe a little bit and connect a little bit more with that. See if there's something else in there.
Mm,
What could happen if you have it and others don't? And others see it, of course. If others see that you have and they don't, what could happen?
well, I don't know if this is my conscious mind telling me this, but it's basically jealousy and nastiness that comes through.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. So if people see that, you might be judged. Is that
yes,
what you're saying? Because if they're jealous, if they feel bad, they're going to say something about it. Isn't that right?
that's right.
Okay. And what happens if you're judged or criticized because you have and they don't? How does that make you feel?
It does make me feel bad,
Okay.
and then it makes, you see, I think it also all depends on who the person is. In my business, for instance, at the moment, to give you an idea, I've also got not too long ago, I bought myself a Mercedes, and the other day it just dawned upon me that I'm sort of following the same route as my father did, because my car's standing in the garage and I'm driving my work vehicle every day,
Yeah.
and I sort of don't want my clients to know that I've got that car, because then they're going to think that I'm doing too well and I'm too successful.
And
So
and what happens if you're doing too successful?
sorry.
And what happens if they think your clients, they think you're doing very successfully? What happens?
Um, I suppose nothing actually happens. It's just basically a thing that I'm afraid of doing. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, if I think about it, what can they do? What can happen? They're not gonna take their business away.
Oh, wait, 1 second, 1 second. So again, let's focus on that little voice in the back of your head that's afraid of clients thinking that you're very successful. What does that part of you say? We got to think about ourselves as kind of a whole, a big piece, and then small pieces scattered around, those small voices in our head. And those small voices are in our subconscious mind. And unfortunately, although they're very small, those are the ones that are dictating our actions. Because as you're saying, Nigel, you're doing very, very well economically, you're being successful, but you feel that you're not as successful as you wanted, you're not being able to enjoy what the things that you have, not being able to enjoy your money, you don't want to be like your dad. So there's several things in there. So there's several voices, as you can see inside of your head, saying different things. And most people, what they do is they shut them down and not pay attention. But you, as everybody out there, are struggling with different things. And the struggle is because we're not looking and facing these small voices. So let's go down that rabbit hole, kind of to give you an analogy about this voice telling you what would happen if your clients think you're successful. I know there's a part of you doesn't care, like they're not going to take their business away. But there's a small part of you, this little voice, that's saying something that's bothering. So let's go down that rabbit hole. Is that okay with you?
Yes.
So what does that little voice inside of your head tell you if clients are seeing you that you're very successful? How are they going to feel?
That I'm making too much money, and that they will always try and negotiate me down on the commissions that we make. And I think it's trying to avoid those situations.
Okay. Okay. There you go.
If you arrive at a property and the client sees you driving this big fancy Mercedes and you're trying to do a deal with them, they're gonna try and negotiate you down all the time because they think you are making too much money.
There you go. Okay. And what happens if they try to negotiate? How does that make you feel?
I actually don't like it, because then it puts me in a position where I have to explain myself and why we're charging this, and it makes me feel, I don't want to say unworthy, that they feel that you're not worthy to making that money.
Okay, so why do you feel you cannot say that you're not worthy? You just said, like, I don't want to say I'm not worthy, but then you said not worthy. Why is there a struggle there?
Because I have a bit of a self-image problem.
There you go. Thank you, Nigel. It's very good that you recognize these things. It's very difficult to be able to overcome this if we don't face it. So really good that you're able to recognize that. Exactly. And you just said it. The thing is, I'll ask you this. If you ask your dad to give you money when you were a kid to buy things, what would he tell you?
He doesn't have, or it's not necessary, or why do I want?
Yeah. Why would you? So you had to explain to dad why you wanted money, correct?
Yes.
So what are you having to do with your clients now? The same thing, isn't that right?
That's right, yes.
You see how everything falls in place? We repeat old patterns over and over again. You had to ask money for dad. If you got to ask dad for money to pay things, and you had to explain to him and really, really explain to him. And it, of course, it didn't make you feel good about having to explain. And now if you have to do the same thing to your clients, it bothers you. So you try to avoid things that might take you to that specific situation, because as you can see, it's not resolved in your subconscious mind. Make sense?
Yes, it does. I mean, I with my father, going back to that, is, I mean, my sister and I, we got to a point where we wouldn't actually ask him for anything because it was always an issue, trying to get 10 Rand or $1 out of him, comparing to you. So we would always end up going to my mother because she would always freely give us, she was more freely to give us things than what he would.
Okay. Okay. So with your father it was difficult. And nowadays, if you find yourself in that challenging situation where somebody is trying to negotiate and you need to explain them why the price is like that, does that make you feel a little bit uncomfortable?
Yes.
You see, the pattern repeats. So let's go back a little bit to that voice. What could you, Nigel, today explain to that voice? Okay, there's part of you that feels that he needs to explain, or he feels bad, or he doesn't feel worthy. Is he not worthy of having money and enjoying money?
No, it is.
So what can we tell this part of us? What would you, if your son came over, if you had, do you have kids?
No, I don't.
Okay. Imagine you had a kid and he came over and he said, "Hey, Dad, can I have some money?" Or whatever. Like, would you be willing to give him?
I would, yes, definitely.
So then what could you tell this part of you that's feeling? Imagine he's a kid of yours that came over and said, "Hey, Dad, can I have," or your niece that came over and said, "Hey, can I have a little bit of money? I want to buy something." Or maybe he even says, "I'm not worthy. I don't know. My dad doesn't want to give me money," and because of your niece. And what would you tell that person, that little boy that's coming over and asking for money because he's not being given money by his dad? In that case, if we imagine that story, what could you tell that small kid? Is he worthy?
I wanted to say is now I would also ask like, but why would you feel you're not worthy?
There you go. Nice.
Yeah.
And what would this part of you tell you if he feels he's not worthy? Why?
Why would I tell him he feels he's not worthy?
No, sorry. What would this voice inside of your head answer back if you ask this voice why he doesn't feel worthy?
I'm just trying to connect with and trying to
imagine yourself in the past having to ask money for dad and dad not wanting to give it to you.
the only thing that I'm feeling or that's jumping up, if you say like the small voice, is that you're not good enough.
There you go. Okay. And why is it not good enough?
I'm not feeling, I'm trying to feel now what's, sorry, I'm struggling with that one a bit. I'm not getting. So you're asking me why am I feeling I'm not good enough?
Yes. Your dad is not giving you the money you wanted, so you feel that you say like, "I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough." So it's related to something with that, isn't that correct?
Yes.
Maybe if you were good enough, dad will give you money. Maybe.
If I'm thinking of back to him, I don't think anybody was good enough in his eyes.
Oh, wow, look at that. You see? So now I got a question for you. Was it you that weren't good enough, or was there an issue with dad that thought that nobody was good enough?
Yeah. issue with him.
So can you tell this part of you, like what could you tell to this voice that's telling you that I wasn't good enough for dad? What can you tell that part of yourself?
That it's not me, and that it was him,
You
and that
see?
there's nothing wrong with me.
There you go. How does that feel when you say that?
Feels good.
There you go, Nigel. Exactly.
Yeah.
When we're kids, we learn everything from mom and dad or guardian. Okay, so
Yeah.
when we're kids, we are pre-programmed. We're pre-programmed. Sorry, we're programmed by our guardians or our dad or our mom. How they treat themselves, how they treat us, and how they treat each other is how we draw conclusions. But the thing is, we cannot draw the conclusion back then that dad is thinking that nobody's good enough for him. We draw the conclusion that we are not good enough for him. Make sense? As you just said.
Yeah.
So the thing is that most people work today with themselves, but they don't realize these small voices inside of them that are telling them things that we're not being aware of. That's why I talk a lot about self-awareness. Listening to these voices, learning from them as you just did, and then being able to, as you just said, dad had an issue. He was the one that couldn't see that I was good enough. But now I got to ask you, Nigel, are you good enough?
I am, yes.
Do you deserve to enjoy your wealth, your money, your car, whatever you have?
I do, yes. I do believe.
So you gotta, whenever you listen to these voices that are telling you, don't take the Mercedes to the house because you can tell yourself, it's okay, I deserve this, you know, and start changing that voice from your dad to this new voice from you. Make sense?
It does. It does.
That's working with your subconscious mind, finding what is in there, what is blocking you, what's getting in the way, to then be able to change that.
Okay. I understand. So
And
I need to.
if you do this work nearly every day, that you just wake up and tell yourself now that you understand where it comes from, because I don't know if have you practiced affirmations before, Nigel?
Yes, yes, yes. I actually do. I
Sorry,
actually do that every day as well.
but they don't work.
Yes.
They don't work
Exactly.
because if you don't address the root cause as we did today, and this, to give you an idea, Nigel, is this is very superficial to what I normally do. Like I'm showing this, I'm helping you out, okay, and sharing this with other people so they can start doing this with themselves too. But this is kind of just a small layer we went in. Like I normally go much deeper and much more in depth to find out and to reprogram the mind. But this is a way too. I'm not saying you cannot do this, and already see how you started changing inside and believing a little bit more that you are worthy, that you're good enough, just by this small work we just did today. Make sense?
Yes, definitely. Yes, it does.
But there's much more to work on to really make the big changes. But I want to tell everybody out there that are practicing affirmations, it's not you practicing affirmations that's not working. The problem is that you're not solving the underlying root cause that's bringing the negative things in your head. So people try to push away, but you need to learn, as you just did, Nigel, why don't I feel good enough? What is the message that's coming out of me about not being good enough, not feeling worthy? Because if I don't go to the root cause, whatever truth affirmation I throw in, my subconscious mind is going to bounce it out, you know?
I understand. Yeah. So for me to basically, when I have an issue, is to go become quiet and to listen to the small voice in my head and to ask questions and try and see
Exactly.
what's causing those emotions.
Exactly. That's called self-awareness and emotional intelligence. That's what I've been teaching for a long while now. And that's what's going to make a difference in every people's life. When I start being more aware of my negative emotions, my negative feeling, my negative thoughts, like what's going on? Listen to that inner voice instead of just pushing it away. Everybody teaches now, push it away, keep pushing, go forward, blah, blah. That's all BS. It doesn't work. And I've been working with hundreds of people that have been burned out, are depressed, are having anxiety because of this, because they keep pushing instead of listening what's going on and changing my past, reprogramming my mind so I can start really believing in what I think and not just throwing affirmations. I'm good enough. I'm good enough. I'm good enough. No, that's not going to work if you don't find.
I've tried that. I have tried that, yeah, and
And did it work, Nigel, again?
no. It works for, when you're actually doing it, it works for that 10 minutes that you feel good. And the moment you step out in the world, it changes. You're back to square one again.
So it's a quick fix that doesn't stick with you. So keep doing affirmations, but now you're going to do them through a different area. When you do these affirmations, you're going to do them differently because now you know your root cause, you understand it. And now when you say, I am good enough, you already did a change in that program in the back of your mind. We can still go very deep and change it even more so it sticks even longer. But this is kind of an example for people out there that you can start making changes in their life. Make sense?
It does make sense, yes. Thank you.
This is an example of the work that I do with the people that I work with. And that's why they, just as you can see, with half an hour we've been talking already, Nigel, you already started feeling a change in your life. Imagine doing this for longer. The changes are amazing and they're fast changing, and you need to do the work, of course. But the deeper you go, the bigger the change and the more it sticks with you. Make sense?
It does, yes, definitely.
So keep doing this work with yourself, okay? So that you can start bringing more changes in your life. But that's what happened. A lot of people have the money, have the success, have the recognition on the outside, but they still feel the emptiness inside. And you just said it, Nigel. You're comfortable with your money. You could buy a Mercedes. You're okay, but you still not feel fulfilled. You don't still feel happy about it. And that has to do with these programs in the back of your head that don't let you enjoy your wealth because you feel bad about it, because of the learning experiences you had in your past that created programs about not feeling good enough, not worthy. So whatever you get, you're not going to feel enough. And as you said, it was funny because I say this, people sometimes don't believe it. You get what you want and it wears off after 2, 3, 4 days, and then you want something else. And that's because you're not okay inside. You're looking for external recognition, validation, or whatever to feel better. Each time we look outside, that wears off after 2, 3 days if we obtain whatever we want, and it wears off. Correct?
That's very correct.
So it's more about
and I think
inside. Nigel? Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I think that's also been a bit of a issue for me because, as I say, I've always, I do well and then I spend the money. And then I get to a point where I'm struggling a bit financially, and then I do well again, and then I go back again. Then I would go buy a nice car, and then that excitement, that good feeling about having that, and then I realize, okay, 2 months later or 3 months later, I shouldn't have actually bought this car because it's too expensive for now. So that's what I've been struggling with for the last, I would say, 10 years is up and down, and not getting to the level where I actually should be. So I'm making those
what I would focus more now, Nigel, is finding the false beliefs about money. You got false beliefs about money that you need to spend your money. So it's related a bit with what we talked to, but we should go deeper and deeper. It's not, we're not going to be able to do it now, but you should go deeper and deeper to find out. Now we found out about not being good enough, you're not feeling worthy, but we got so many programs in our back of the head, in our subconscious mind, that are leading us to make decisions that then, as you say, I got money, I'm happy, whoa, I got it, now I go out and spend it everything. Okay. Yes. And I used to do that too. Many years ago, I found myself that I was spending and spending and spending because I had false beliefs about money. When I worked around those false beliefs, I was able to change my life too. Okay. And not spend the money as faster than I get it, or if I get it, I could start saving money. It's all about working on these programs because our subconscious mind triggers 90% of our actions, more or less, to give you an idea. Some people talk 95, some people take 85, I don't care. your subconscious mind rules your life. So if you don't know what's in there, if you don't work with what's in there, you're going to keep going down the same road. So you have a habit, you spend money, okay? More than you cannot save. That is triggered by a negative emotion. But that negative emotion is triggered, and that's what people are missing, by a negative belief. So if we have a habit and we want to change it, people work on the habit. We're not going to change the habit by working on a habit. We need to go back and find the negative emotion. But then that negative emotion is going to be kind of our compass, our GPS, that's going to take us to the negative belief. We get the negative belief, we start reprogram at a very deep level, and that's, we didn't do it today, but we go very deep. I have a specific work that I do with a specific sequence to reprogram that false belief. So that false belief turns into a new truth. That truth triggers a positive emotion, and that positive emotion triggers a positive habit. That you can change. Addictions, I work with a person that he stopped smoking after one session, and we kept on working. He after I think it was 2 weeks or something like that in, he stopped smoking. He started reducing smoking, and then he just eventually stopped smoking. Because again, smoking is a habit that is triggered by a negative belief, negative emotion, sorry, that is triggered by the negative belief. If you can find the negative belief, you can change your whole life. Make sense?
Yeah, that does, definitely.
And imagine what you just did today with a short time. Imagine if you kept on working with this, you can change your whole life. Every aspect of your life, you can change it. It's amazing.
That's what so I've got a lot of work ahead of me, but I'm at least I'm starting, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Great. Glad to hear that. And I hope this helps you and the people out there, of course. Okay.
Definitely. Thank you, Tommy.